Hi, welcome to Assistant on Air, where we have conversations with people who build for Google Assistant. I'm Jessica, and I'll be your host today. I'm a developer advocate for Actions on Google, and I'll be chatting with Sachin today, who is a Google developer expert for Google Assistant. And we'll be chatting about enriching conversation actions by using various APIs. Welcome, Sachin. Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Thanks, Jessica. Thanks for having me.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm a Google developer expert. I also head the Google developer groups in Doha. I'm a chief technology officer at Tuplo Life, which is a connected healthcare company based out of Dallas, Texas. I'm an active mentor for a lot of startups in the region, and I do a lot of talks and workshops.
Oh my goodness, that's a lot of things that you're doing, a lot of hats that you're wearing. But I would love to dig into the workshops. What type of workshops do you do?
So typically in terms of the conversations and workshops that I handle, I try to keep it from the basics and the beginners to how to build your own actions from scratch. And then from there, we kind of take it to the next level by kind of combining with various APIs that's available to kind of build meaningful products and actions.
Oh, that's amazing. So you start off with just, I'm sure, explain what is Actions on Google and voice conversations, which is a hard topic. And then you expand that to include other APIs to enrich your actions.
Exactly. Yeah.
Can you give me an example of what you do or like what you teach?
So in terms of one of the most fascinating and interesting projects or workshops that I've done is how to build chatbots or voice assistants using machine learning APIs. Oh, okay. And as part of that machine learning APIs, Google Cloud provides machine learning APIs in terms of vision, natural language, and as well as video intelligence and more. Mm-hmm. And as part of this, I kind of started experimenting with how we can leverage these APIs directly with conversations to kind of build more meaningful stuff. So one of the things that kind of stood out was the natural language API.
Makes sense.
And within that, we had sentiment analysis and entity analysis. So sentiment analysis was basically more of how to kind of understand your user based on the overall attitude, being whether the sentiment was positive or negative. So then I thought, okay, that's a pretty cool way to actually understand your user. So the API is a standalone API that's directly out there. So why not just integrate with actions where you're having conversations and understand your users better?
Oh my God, that just sounds like it just opens up a lot more of your understanding of the user. And I also hear whispers that you've been playing with another tool that we recently launched, Interactive Canvas. So can you tell me a little bit about that?
So this is one of the most interesting things in respect to the assistant, which is the Interactive Canvas. So Interactive Canvas allows you to leverage the web and take the entire power of the web, like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, which most of the developers,
Yeah, we're familiar with.
Yeah, we're
totally.
very familiar with that, and then kind of integrate with conversation. So now, rather than just having a conversation response back where you hear audio, you also have a visual display where you're kind of interacting with the display as well, and it's voice driven. So that's pretty cool. I feel like this is like the next level of gaming to some extent, because people are used to like gaming on mobile phones, consoles, but here you're actually playing a game based on your voice, just by having a conversation. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I'm sure you can't just grab a website and just put it into a smart display. There most likely is going to be different elements to consider because it's voice first. So have you noticed anything that you've done differently when you've been building out some interactive canvas?
The approach that I took to kind of build a simple educational game was to kind of not use the traditional forms or buttons and stuff like that, because here it's a game. So the display acts as a secondary layer where it kind of gives you like visual cues on where the game is or how to kind of interact with it, but rather the entire thing is driven by voice. So kind of took out the entire play and where you design your conversation first. Conversation, that's very important. And after designing your conversations, kind of use the fulfillment where your backend logic is there. And within the backend logic, that's where you use the Interactive Canvas API.
Sachin, thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Thank you so much.
If someone's watching this right now and they're like, I really want to get started because this sounds great, what would you recommend for them to do first?
So I would typically say first go to Actions on Google and also follow the code labs. There's 3 code labs right now. And go through all the 3 code labs. By just following those code labs, you would be done with, how to build actions from scratch to building, different features. So once you're done with the code labs, the next step would be to kind of use, go to Google Cloud, explore the machine learning APIs, and especially the natural language API. It's a simple API call, REST API. You get the conversations from into your backend, call the API, you get the response back, send it back to through your APIs, and it's done.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Really appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, Jessica. Thanks for having me.
We hope that you liked today's show. If you want to hear the full episode, check out the Assistant on Air podcast on your favorite podcast platform. I've been Jessica. Chat with you next time.